We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships. This is the Couples Academy Show.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Couples Academy Show. As you can see, it is relationship Q&A.
Yay!
That's what we're doing today, because that's what we do every single Friday, where we come and answer your questions. But my name is Hassani.
I'm Danielle.
And we are Couples Academy, and we are with you here today. And we want to hear from you. This is your day. This is the day where it's all about you.
All about you. Coming on here and getting your questions answered. So when you come on, after you like, share, and subscribe, and ring a bell and let everybody know that you're watching the Couples Academy Show and that they should too, drop a question in here. Ask your burning questions, those things that you've been thinking when we've been talking all week. Or some of you drop questions and we just don't get a chance to actually answer them. So this is the time to do that. So come in here and do that. Also, let us know where you're from so we can acknowledge you.
Yeah, Friday guys. Do you have plans for the weekend? What are you doing? Like, we're almost here. Yeah.
He's so excited about Friday. We do have family plans today, so I'm excited about that. Don't ask, Madison. Don't ask. But we do have plans to just get together and do something because, you know, you get claustrophobic sitting in the house. Isn't the world changing? Is it getting better and safer to go outside? I feel like people are starting to plan vacations again and get on planes again. People are less scary again. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you know, absolutely. I think because people are taking this vaccine, people feel safer and they're willing to do more things. Yeah. We're finally connecting with our small group that we haven't seen in over a year.
I'm so excited to see everybody.
Oh, man. And that's another thing. You have to be a part of a community, right? So we have a community of married couples who all want the same thing. And sometimes we come together and we're talking and we're building each other up. And sometimes we're coming together just to connect and have fun. And I know that the pandemic has isolated all of us. And you've been in your own social space, but now's the time to get out there and to connect and to be a part of a community that is anchored in a value system that you believe in. That's what this whole thing is about. But listen, guys, it's relationship Q&A, so let's get the questions started. Listen, we were working with a couple days ago, and it's interesting. Whenever we're doing sessions with couples, this is what happens, and I think I've said this before. The husband's having a conversation with me while the wife is sitting next to the husband. The wife is having a conversation with me while the husband's sitting next to the wife. And they're not having a conversation with each other. They're asking me, how do I get my spouse to such and such, rather than asking their spouse who's sitting right there. We've taught you throughout the course of this program that you must become a student of your spouse. In essence, your spouse should become a teacher who teaches you how to love him or her, treat him or her, communicate with him or her. And you rather go to third parties, read books, watch programs, go to someone else to find the answer that's sitting right in front of you. And so our responsibility is to navigate and guide a conversation that you two have together with each other. Because how many couples have you worked with, Danielle, who only talk within the hour of that session, and literally, but as they're closing the session out, one's going this way, one's going that way, and they never say a word to each other till the following week?
Well, my experience with the wives is that there are questions that come up in the sessions and conversations that we have, and I'll say, well, did you say that? No, I didn't say that. Well, did you ask that? No, I didn't ask that. Well, was that really what was going through? Well, no, I was just thinking that. That's not communicating unless your spouse is a mind reader, right? Or somehow can perceive beyond the lenses. Yeah. He's not going to know. So there's a question here that just came up from Hubert from Miami, Florida, saying, how can I better communicate with my wife? And guys, we're going to say this until the cows come home. The Enneagram personality typing assessment is the most powerful tool you will ever have to be able to learn exactly how to talk to your spouse. It's a great place to start. It's not where it ends. but it's a great place to start because it helps you understand the person. It's like talking two different language. What is it? Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Okay? Well, if we're talking two different languages, I just don't understand, even though I'm talking to you. It makes me think about DMX, who was rapping one day and saying, I'm saying it to you, I'm telling it to you. And you're like, yeah. Because you don't even understand what I'm really trying to say to you, but I'm trying to tell you what I'm trying to tell you, and you're missing it. I'm saying crystal clear words. How are you not getting this? Have you ever gotten to an argument with your spouse, and they're like, you're saying what you're saying, and it's crystal clear, and they don't understand? Or they respond to you in some way that makes you think, did you not even hear what I said? That's the power of the Enneagram. It gives you the clarity and the understanding so that you know exactly how your spouse perceives.
Yes.
Communication. That's where you start.
That's where you start. So if you haven't taken that Enneagram personality assessment, please do set up a discovery call with us, because Danielle is certified as an Enneagram specialist, and she deals with personality pairing. And a major part of that is communication. Also, a couple more resources. A couple months back, we did a 5-hour masterclass on communication. It's called More Than Words. You will see the advertisement for that at the very end of the show. So as we close out the show, you will see it up there. More Than Words. It is a 5-hour masterclass. You can go to the website and get it today. And the other thing is, in our book, The Audacity of Marriage, 10 Principles to Lifelong Partnership, you will notice that there's 2 chapters dedicated to communication. One of those chapters happens to be Help My Mouth is Killing My Marriage. And the other one is Resolving Conflict in Your Marriage. I would highly recommend you get that. And as we said, I believe on yesterday's show, when you and your spouse are reading together and learning together and watching together, you're growing together, and you're able to gain insight from one another that you wouldn't have had if you were in your own silos doing your own separate thing.
All right. Lolita says, please do a session on blended families. And that's definitely a really powerful topic. We probably need to bring a guest on who is a specialist in, family planning and all of that, to really get into a good conversation about that, because that does bring a tremendous amount of stress into the marriage. I mean, we can't tell you how many couples we've had who have issues with how to raise, how to parent, and getting on the same page. It's literally the reason why they're at odds is their children.
Yeah. And
so it's definitely a powerful subject. But ask your question. We might be able to help you here today.
But I think that's a great series to do, because
Absolutely.
it's something that a large percentage of our couples deal with.
Let's see. Keisha says, we are having a double date with another couple to discuss about emotional intimacy. Good. So you guys must have tuned in yesterday and heard, over the past couple days, and heard us talking about the power of intimacy. And there's nothing better than getting together with another couple to just sharpen iron, right? And see other perspectives and get another understanding about how other people foster that intimacy in their relationship.
And let me jump on that, right? So there's power in that, because let's just say you and your spouse are talking, and you're able to have these conversations. But to Danielle's point, you know what? I hear what you're saying, but I don't know. I just don't get it, right? So when you bring another couple in and they're sharing, and then you realize that the opposite sex friend has the same perspective as your spouse, you're able to see it from a different perspective, because you think, oh, my wife is crazy, or my husband just don't understand. But then you realize, wait a minute, maybe it's not my spouse. Maybe this is the thing that I need to pay attention to. And sometimes hearing the same thing from a different voice, right, can connect the dots and help people to get what they wouldn't get when they were just having the conversation with their spouse. So I think that's a phenomenal idea. Whatever you do, protect your partner in that conversation. Sometimes people have a tendency to out their spouse, and they throw all of their issues on the table, and they expose their partner, and it's very uncomfortable. And that's why it's important to have rules of engagement before you start talking about intimate affairs, because you want to show your spouse in a good light. So deal with things in a general perspective. Don't get grungy and don't get dirty and ugly.
Yeah, I'm getting excited just listening to some of these questions. Ooh, it popped in so fast it missed it. Okay, here it is. Amanda says, how about a show on families with special needs children? We have an autistic daughter, and we have a passion and a heart for that. We understand that. Just even with my own family, just having some special needs that we've dealt with over the years and are dealing with and overcoming. But that is a major issue in marriages. Talk about the Eden House and why we actually established it to work with autistic families.
Talk about it now.
Okay.
Oh, so yes, if we haven't announced this yet because we've been gone, but we've been doing some work. We've been doing some things on this side, and you know, we actually have a retreat center and a nonprofit called the Eden Family Training Center, right? And so it is specialized for families who have special needs children. You know, statistically, this blew me away when I discovered this a few years ago, but 80% of all families with special needs children, 80% of those marriages end in divorce. Now, here's the deal. While your child is 18 years of age or younger, they're getting all types of resources and programs available. But once that child, state by state, but once that child becomes of the age of accountability and is 18 or older, all those programs, all those resources, all those finances go away. And so now there's even more of a burden on the parents. And so that's when crisis happens and shows up in a major way.
Absolutely.
And it leans heavy on that particular couple.
Yeah.
So because we're sensitive to that, you'll be hearing more information about the Eden House. But yes, we have a nonprofit for couples who have special needs children.
Absolutely.
Right on time with that question.
Listen, guys, we are.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we have a break coming up, so stay tuned. On the other side, we're going to acknowledge you, but keep your questions coming in so that we could just hit these questions. Boom, boom, boom. We want you to come in with the questions right away. So we'll see you on the other side of the break.
Have you been struggling with issues that have gone unresolved for significant amounts of time? Are you desperate for change but don't know exactly what to do? Well, Couples Academy has the answer. The Gottman Relationship Checkup is a clinical tool that scientifically evaluates relationship strengths and challenges through a comprehensive assessment based upon 40 years of research. With it, each partner completes the assessment in 5 key sections: friendship and intimacy, trust and safety, conflict management, shared meaning, and individual areas of concern. This personalized report provides detailed analysis, flags areas of concern, and suggests specific treatment options that we will discuss together. The insight gained from this assessment will help to take you off the road of recovery and place you on the path to fulfillment. If you're ready to experience quantum growth in your marriage, contact Couples Academy today. Listen, guys, a lot of us want to get great information on our relationships, and we rely on Instagram posts. We rely on commentary from personalities that say something witty, and we hold on to it as a life principle that we want to use to govern our lives, but we're not really willing to do the major work. Now, what you just saw with the Gottman Institute, it is a very comprehensive assessment, and that is what you need to get into all of the intricacies, all of those areas that you can't see that will pull out what's really going on. It's just like getting to the root of the matter. And once you get to the root of the matter, then you know how to properly navigate through things to bring resolution into your relationship. So listen, stop waiting. We've been talking about the Enneagram Personality Assessment since the beginning of the show. We're talking about this Gottman Relationship Assessment. It has to become not just a recommendation for you, but a requirement for your relationship. If you plan on striving and going to the next level, you have to do it. You have to do it if you want the best relationship that you can have.
Absolutely. I just want to jump back over to Amanda's comment about the special needs and just say that, you know, for us, it's about bringing on the experts. And that's what this season is going to be about. I think you guys are really going to love tuning in. There's someone that's coming to mind right now who is an expert in dealing with families who have autistic children. She knows the states that have the support and all of the finances that you can get. Georgia tends to be one of those states that doesn't have a lot of financial support and programs for autistic children. Pennsylvania tends to have a lot. So we're going to bring those people on to give you the support that you need with that. So we have another comment from Ofer Look 87. Good morning. Oh, Chris from Richmond, Virginia. Is it possible to save a marriage when I have been unfaithful multiple times and didn't know how she felt? Now the shoe is on the other foot.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
that's why we're here.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's why Couples Academy exists, because there was unfaithfulness and it was a breach of trust and a violation and a betrayal to the relationship. And then sometimes it impacts the other spouse as well. And so you have a lot of couples where affairs have existed on both sides, different types of affairs, but affairs nonetheless. And they come to us because they just don't know what to do. And so it's not about the how. You're not supposed to know the how. We know the how.
Yeah.
I think the how stops people from moving forward because it seems impossible. There's no way we'll ever be able to get over this. Well, you haven't gone to the right people who can properly guide you. You need a strong why. See, if you have a strong why for wanting this marriage, a passion, a motivation, a desire, a vision of what life can be like, that's what you need to bring to the table and let us take care of the rest. So yes, your marriage can be saved. But listen, we say this all the time. Our goal is not to save your marriage. That's not the goal. To me, that's a low level goal, just to save your marriage. How many people do you know who are married and miserable? A lot. So saving your marriage is just a step in the process. The goal is for you to find fulfillment within your marriage. As we say all the time, we take you through 3 major phases. Phase number 1 is the road to recovery. That's when we're dealing with all the pain and the betrayal that got you to us in the first place.
Absolutely.
Once we've done that, then we take you to the second phase or stage, which is the path to fulfillment. All right, we've dealt with the pain. Now let's begin to experience the pleasure. And after we've built that foundation, then we go to the next stage, the final stage, which is building your kingdom, right? That is when you tap into the power of your partnership, because there's a purpose for your union, not just you experiencing the benefits of your union. So that's what this thing is about. That's what Couples Academy stands for. So if you're in a lowly place and you're trying to, you're vacillating back and forth. Do I stay? Do I go? Do I work on it? Do I not? Listen, you need to go to our website and set up a discovery call so that we can talk through the issues to show you what's possible for you and your partner.
Absolutely. BT Jackson says, hi, I also have special needs children, 2 autistic children. Great question. So this is definitely striking a nerve. Amanda says, y'all are making me sob. This has been such a strain. Thank you. And we are sensitive to the issue of autism. We even actually took our family to a camp last year where there were kids who had issues like cancer and other autistic issues as well. And so we know that it is a major strain, not just autism too, but even just other ailments and sickness can be a huge issue within a marriage, along with the finances, along with the sex. So we do realize that it's not a unilateral issue.
Absolutely.
With couples. Couples are dealing with a lot of things and trying to overcome a lot. Ali says, how do I react to a female coworker who was emotionally involved with my husband? The emotional attachment is over, but I'm soon gonna meet her in person with my husband in an upcoming event. I feel like there's not enough information there for me to give the kind of response that I would give, but I do believe that you need to take charge in choosing the environments that you place yourself in. Is this absolutely necessary? Is this 100% critical that you have to be at this event and actually meet this other woman? Is it absolutely necessary for your husband to also be at this event in the same room with this other woman? When it comes to working together with someone who's an ex-affair partner, oftentimes people leave the job to avoid it because it's such a critical issue in the marriage to know that your spouse is returning to work every day and seeing this affair partner. So I would think about choosing whether or not I actually have to be in the room at the same time.
Yeah. And you're right. That's an excellent point. If for whatever reason your spouse decides to stay, my question is, how did that affair come to an end? What was said? What was done? What parameters were put in place? Because that job is a trigger for you. Every time he or she goes, it's a trigger, right? So you have to be aware. Oh, this is a woman, right? Okay. Every time your husband goes, it's a trigger. So is there a level of transparency that you and your spouse have when he's at the job? How do you know that they're not communicating? Do they work in the same building? Do they work on the same floor? Are they working next to each other, in terms of offices or cubicles? Like, these are all the things that need to be done. Now, if you have to go to this event, this is your first conversation? Did it imply that they're going to have a conversation, or they're just going to be in the same social space?
They're going to be in the same social space, and she's saying that she's going to have to meet her in person.
So they're going to have to meet. Weird,
like
awkward.
Very awkward.
See, this is why, and we've dealt with this with other couples, whether it was work or ministry.
Mm-hmm.
If you are in a situation where you're going to have to engage on some social level or some work level, to me, there should be a preliminary conversation before that even happens.
And I wonder if there's any empathy there, because to me, this should be a situation that your husband is not even willing to put you in, right? It just makes me wonder what the openness and communication is that you have going on, that you actually feel like you have to be in the same room with this person. I would think that your husband would do everything in his control to make sure that that never happens, and also make sure that he is never in the same room with this person again. One of my previous clients, similar situation, dealing with this in the church. Where the affair partner was in the church and still having to go and be there in the presence, and just it not being acknowledged or respected by the leadership. That terrible.
And that's why we need the details, right? Because the more details we have, we're able to give you a more clear answer that speaks to your particular situation. We're covering this from a general perspective because we dealt with this a lot. So this is why a session is really worth it. You know, even when we give great advice, it may be off if there's information you're leaving out, right? That's why we encourage a call. Anyway, guys, this is good. This is good. We're on the flow.
Questions are coming in. Thank you.
We got one more segment to go. You're watching the Couples Academy show. Be right back, guys. Hey guys, welcome back. You're watching the Couples Academy show. Listen, I appreciate the fact that you guys text us as well, in addition to what you post actually publicly. It's a long text. I don't have time to read it all, unpack it all. They want it to be private. So I promise I will acknowledge this at the top of next week, but we have many comments we want to get to now, so hit it.
Absolutely. Let's see. Dee says, good morning from South Bend, Indiana. I'm so addicted to couples counseling, even though I haven't been able to get my husband on board yet. Thank you both. I appreciate you guys.
And we appreciate you. You know what? Listen, it starts out that way. So, oftentimes one partner is watching every single day, and then they send the appropriate video to their partner that resonates with them. They're not weaponizing the show.
Don't weaponize it. Please don't send a video on, why cheaters are going to hell. Not that we have that video, but you know what I'm saying?
We don't have that video.
Like, don't find the video that makes your point and proves them wrong. That's not the one that you send.
Nah.
You know what's better is to send one that actually indicts you. And you let them say, and you say to them, you know what? I'm learning so much. I discovered this is where I've been going wrong, and I thought you might hear it. Is this what you've been saying to me? Open the door.
Boom.
Open the door. Don't blame them. Don't point the finger at them. Dietrich says, I'm behind and I must catch up on the intimacy series. My wife and I have been separated for 6 months, but getting along well, and it seems that she is wanting to be closer, but neither of us know how. Okay. okay. See, now you're walking on glass, right? Because both of you want the intimacy, but sometimes it feels awkward for a long time before it feels natural. Yesterday, Hassan and I were talking about how, like, sometimes people can't even hold hands. It feels weird. Like, it's just so awkward. Like, ugh. Or, like, looking at each other. Like, look at me, Hassan. Remember yesterday you looked at me? And it was so easy and natural, but, like, you can't stare into the windows of my soul because I'm still harboring guilt and resentment against
Into
you.
your ocular frames.
You can't look into my ocular lens not too long without feeling the shame and the guilt and the lack of self-worth. So all those things come into play. This is why we like to guide people through a process to help them actually really live through that intimacy in real life, practical ways. Stuff that you can do every day to start to develop that intimacy.
And if you both want this and don't know how, like, real talk, what's keeping you from sitting in front of somebody who can help guide you through
What's
it?
wrong with that? Okay, just saying.
Siva.
Sharon saying, "Good morning. I really enjoy listening to your live chats. I patiently wait to tune it. I'm learning so much."
We
Thank
appreciate
you so
that.
much, Sharon. We appreciate you.
Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and let your community know.
Absolute. Rich says, "I have betrayed my wife so many times in our 35-year marriage. We are working to reconcile. In this process, we have learned of many issues that I have. How do we effectively work on Work on it and fixing me?"
You get help. You can't do it on your own. Like, I know we sound like a broken record, and I know sometimes you're asking questions. Maybe
Broken
you're
records are
looking
the
for
best
something
records.
different, huh?
Broken records are the best record. That's the ones you play over and over again.
Like that
D'Angelo.
Yeah, it wasn't a record, but it was a tape, and it
I
popped.
probably bought 3 of them.
Yeah,
Played
real
it
talk.
out.
Because it's that good. So one of the things to get you started is to continue to tune into the show and watch, right? Because we're peeling back layers, we're unpacking things, we're giving you insight. But then it's about, okay, let's take this thing to the next level. We've been watching them long enough. They're information providers. Now they become trusted advisors because we tune in regularly. We believe what they're saying. Let's go to the next level and let's set up a session with them and let's begin to reveal what's going on in our world so they can guide us through a process. You can't do it by yourself. And you know what? Couples Academy is not the end all to be all. Maybe you have somebody else, but go somewhere.
Please go somewhere.
You listen, if I need surgery and I'm a doctor, there's only so much I can do. I need to go to another surgeon who can perform the operation. So stop trying to DIY your journey and figure it out by finding the right one that can guide you through.
As the scriptures say, when you've done all you can, stand up and call Couples Academy.
What translation was that?
That was the DM Pettifor translation. Okay. Sharon says, "My husband of 21 years left after he retired, saying he needed a break. I'm devastated. We have a 17-year-old daughter."
Yeah, it's rough.
It is rough. It's almost like, and I hear a lot of this, like people, it's almost like midlife crisis or late life crisis. Like, you know, you feel it's actually the result of a lack of communication for a very, very long time. So there are a lot of things that have not been said and have not been dealt with, and he felt that there was the answer was to just abandon ship, and that's what we're seeing a lot of is people just walking out and never doing the work.
My question is it a divorce that's impending? Does he just want time to get away and separate? Is there any way that we can work with you to help transition this from a separation to a controlled separation, which is the next step back to a restoration? If you have children, how old are the children? Does he connect with the children? Do you two have to communicate for the sake of the children, for financial matters? There's a way to loop him back in to a conversation that can lead to restoration.
Okay. Gorgeous says, right, what if your spouse says that person doesn't work there anymore? How do I know if she's no longer working there? I'm still uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's transparency.
Yeah, that is.
I mean,
That
that's to me like that's me wanting to know where you are and when you're coming home and all those things that happen after there's an infidelity. People think that you can just move on. You can't move on unless you go back and heal those hurt places. And so that means that I'm going to have to open up my entire life to you if I want to win your trust back. And that's
Absolutely.
something that has to happen.
Listen, guys, this was fun. We enjoy having you
Always.
on Fridays where we talk about your questions and give you the answers that you need. We hope that you have a phenomenal weekend. Stay tuned on Monday. We want you here on Monday. We have some great announcements.
You and all your friends and your family.
Let's get it, guys. Let's get it. Let's get it. This is season 2. We're going to make this happen and take this to the next level. Love y'all.
See you guys.
See ya.